crackdown on migrants living in the U.S. is intensifying. The Trump administration announced on Thursday that it will review visas of all 55 million foreigners currently living in the country, placing them under what officials are calling, quote, continuous vetting for any potential violations. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., ICE Chief Todd Lyons says agents will not be stationed at schools on the first day of classes, while leaving the door open for agents to enter school premises on the campuses in the future. And in Boston, Lyons threatened to, quote, flood the city with federal agents after Mayor Michelle Wu reaffirmed that Boston would not back down from its policy of limiting police from cooperating with ICE. And the administration isn't just escalating tactics, it's pouring billions of dollars into them. Just this week, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is pushing for the agency to purchase a fleet of deportation planes, which could cost you, the taxpayer, up to $12 billion. That's on top of ICE's new fleet of SUVs decked out with gold-detailed Defend the Homeland custom wraps for operations in Washington, D.C. And Democrats are seizing every opportunity they can find to blast what they call wasteful and immoral spending.
What is also immoral is the amount of money that is being poured into this immoral system. The immigration detention system funded in the Big Ugly Bill, $45 billion. We could house every homeless individual in America for half of that. We could house every unhoused veteran 5 times over.
Joining us now, the person you just heard, Democratic Congresswoman Veronica Escobar of Texas. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. I want to start with your recent visit to a new migrant detention facility in Fort Bliss, which was previously used as a Japanese internment camp during World War II. It is now privately owned, so there's a lot happening here. This was in Fort Bliss, Texas. What did you see, and what do you think about the administration, knowing everything we know now, everything we know about that site, what it was used for, the horrors that happened to Japanese people there, them using it now as a migrant facility?
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for having me on to talk about this. We are not talking about what's happening around immigration detention enough in our country. And the site that I visited, which is in my community, on our military installation, which, as you mentioned, we are repeating history in America over and over and over again under the Trump administration, repeating the sins of the past, not learning from our history, and engaging in highly immoral behavior. That facility on the screen right now is costing U.S. taxpayers $1.24 billion. It is a privately run detention system. And so we know when we privatize things like detention, the emphasis is not on people, the emphasis is on profits. And this funding mechanism is part of the Republican One Big Beautiful Bill, where they invest our money, $170 billion of our tax dollars, in the Department of Homeland Security. Now, remember, they are cutting Americans' health care. They are cutting nutrition programs. They are eliminating cancer research. They are slicing and dicing everything that helps Americans, and instead funneling that money and more into detaining immigrants who, by the way, helped us recover from COVID because of the commitment that this workforce has had in America for many years.
Congresswoman, NBC had released a story on Wednesday. Kristi Noem is pushing for ICE to buy and operate a fleet of deportation planes. Sources say, Eugene brought this up in the intro, but it says it can cost $80 million to $400 million to buy a commercial airliner. Purchasing 30 passenger jets at that price range could cost $2.4 billion to $12 billion, but it's unclear if ICE could lower the price per plane by buying a large number of them. I bring this up, Congresswoman, because you are a member of the House Appropriations Committee and the House Budget Committee. Where is this money coming from? I keep hearing from Republicans on the Hill and in the White House that we're spending too much money, to the point where they just did a rescission package taking money away from programs, including $1 billion from the District of Columbia that they were using for things for like public safety. So where's this money coming from?
That's a good question, Jonathan. This is the least transparent administration ever. That money may be coming from the One Big Beautiful Bill, from that massive pot of money that the administration gave to the Department of Homeland Security. But again, I think context is so important. Have they hired enough air traffic controllers yet? Have they fixed the challenges that were happening at Newark Airport? We know what their warped priorities are. Their priorities are not about helping Americans. If those were their priorities, they'd be shifting that funding into ending homelessness, into helping veterans, into building affordable housing, into free lunch for children, and we're actually at the end of this year about to fall off a cliff of affordability with the Affordable Care Act. And we need to fund the subsidies so that people don't see their health insurance double. But they're not doing that. They're not interested in helping Americans. They are interested in pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into the mass deportation, mass detention system. All the while, they are creating a police state in our cities. We are seeing a repetition of history here. And America needs to understand that not only is all of this a symptom of a backsliding of our democracy, but it is a rise of authoritarianism. This is how past dictators have controlled their own people. It is chilling, it is terrifying. And I want to remind Americans, Donald Trump ran on the promise that he was going to focus on you, that he was going to lower your costs on day one. Not only has none of that happened, not only is there no money to help Americans, but there are hundreds of billions of dollars to fulfill every anti-immigrant fantasy that Stephen Miller has.
Congresswoman, in the time that we have left with you, Kemar Briger Garcia was released, and the U.S. seeks to deport him to Uganda. He is not Ugandan, after he refused a plea offer in his smuggling case. I think I know, but I'd love for you to tell our viewers what it means about where we are as a country, that the administration is using the threat of a plane, a flight, a deportation, a removal to a third-party country like Uganda for someone like Kemar Briger Garcia.
This is, Eugene, all a part of the administration's efforts to dehumanize immigrants, to make it seem like immigrants are less than human and they can be discarded anywhere that the administration dreams up of discarding them. If any other country were doing this in another era, the United States would be condemning what that country is doing. But what's happening is we are a very different country today. And frankly, I hope that our peer nations condemn this administration and condemn what is happening as we would any other country that were doing this.
Congresswoman Veronica Escobar of Texas, thank you and your little cat that's been walking in the background for coming on the show this morning.